And now back to Bobby Likas Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likas.
And welcome back to today's edition of Bobby Likas Car Clinic. I thank you for tuning in. For some 23 going on 24 years, I've answered car questions. The more sophisticated cars get, the more difficult it becomes to work on those automobiles and the more expensive. So how do you save yourself from, number one, save your money and keep your car in your garage and out of my garage or a local service garage? Number one, there are 3 visits that you should make a year to an automotive service shop. And those visits are normally, in the thinking of car owners, that would be you and me, that when you have your oil and filter change, it's time for oil service and all the other stuff, whatever it is that you check out. Just know that there are many mechanical items that need inspection along the way. It is the oil and service time that triggers the inspection by a set of trained eyes. So if you want to save yourself breakdowns and save yourself money, make sure that you take your car in regularly. The challenge with that is if you only drive 5,000 miles a year, when do you change the oil? But the bigger question should be, if you only drive 5,000 miles a year and you decide you're going to change the oil one time a year, which is okay, that's perfectly permissible, what about the 12-month duration of tire rotation that you didn't do, alignment that you didn't check, brake pads that weren't inspected, belts, hoses, and all those other things that are under the hood and underneath that nice-looking machine that you ride in luxury. And you run the radio, you run the air conditioner. As long as everything works, and maybe you have it washed once a week, you should, or more. The bottom line is there are mechanical items that where you drive the new off of that vehicle, you have to put the new back on that vehicle. And that's where I can help you. I say I can help you because I'll give you buzzwords and I'll give you a way to communicate with your local service shop. I'm not here to fix cars, although we've certainly done our share of fixing on air. Let me give you the number. It's 888 Car Clinic. It's 888-227-2546. Kim will take your call and put you in a queue, and then I will put you on the air. Let's take a call from Jim in Nebraska, and then I'll share some more information with you about the price of gasoline and also additional information about coolants that you should know. Jim, welcome to Bobby Likas Car Clinic. Thanks for holding.
Yes, good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, sir.
I have an older Corvette, a 99. And I would like to trade up to a 2005. And my dealer says, no one trades the 2005s in. Why don't I get a 2006? Well, I still like the 2005s. What do you know about them?
Not a lot.
Oh.
I really don't. I mean, I'm just not a Corvette. I'm not a big Corvette guy. And now if it were Viper, I could tell you exactly wheel, nut, bolt, and transmission. But so Jim, you tell me, what is the difference between a 5 and a 6?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh. Well, I thought, there's first gen, second gen.
Right.
And so I thought that perhaps the 5 and 6, that's a good question to put out for the network. And folks, if there's a Corvette, aficionado out there, call 888 Car Clinic and we'll put you in conference with Jim here on the air.
What I believe I know is the 2005 was the first year of what they called the C6.
Well, then that is the next gen. Then it is.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
yes,
so maybe that's a more rare car than the 6. But let me just ask you this. Are you looking for a later model than your 99 nice Corvette that you can drive and enjoy the technology advancements that are in horsepower and all the other things that come with the car?
No. What I'm looking for is the body style. I was looking for a 2005 when I found the 99.
Okay.
The 99 is a beautiful car. I mean, the guy who had it before I did took great care of it. But I wanted the one I have is a fastback. I wanted the coupe.
Right.
The 99 has the flip-up headlights. I did not want that. But the car was so nice and the price was right that I bought it.
Well, here's what I would recommend. I would recommend you go to the Corvette Club of America, which you can do from the comfort of your own home. And this is what I did when I ordered my Viper years ago. It took 4.5 months to get the car. By the time the car arrived at the dealership, I already knew more about the car than the dealer and the dealer's mechanics. And I say that because it was one of those, I can't wait to get this car. And you know, when you were looking for your 05 and you found the 99, it was a good buy for you, and it's been a great car. But by going on, I went to the Viper Club of America. So if you go to the Corvette Club of America, and there may be a different name, and for folks, if you know the answer, then call me at 888 Car Clinic. But here's the bottom line. By reading the forums of the Corvette Club of America, you can learn more about specific models because there's questions that you have already been asked and answered. So for me, I learned about the skip shift, which is, you know, that the Viper has a gas mileage saver, fancy that, where if you're going less than 15 miles an hour and you go from first to second gear with your foot off the throttle, the vehicle will absolutely lock out second gear, and when you pull the lever back from first to second, it will be clunky and it will end up in fourth. And it happens when you least expect it. And so that usually happens when the car in front of me will accelerate and start to move, and I'll accelerate, and then I'll say, oh, I'm closing in. That person started to go but didn't really go, or maybe their transmission is shifting. So I let off the gas and kind of hesitate just a moment and pull it. And again, going less than 15 miles per hour. And it is a very worrisome component that Chrysler added to that vehicle for gas mileage. First to fourth. It's called skip shift. And before I ever got the car, I had a kit. And you couldn't just unplug the solenoid on the transmission because the check engine light would come on. So you install this little black box, and it fooled the computer into thinking that that you weren't going 15 miles an hour, you know, or whatever what they did. But the bottom line, that's what I would do if I were you. I would reach out to the local and or national car club, either one. Okay. They're in Nebraska. And are you familiar with the Central Nebraska Central Car Club of Central Nebraska?
Not really. I'm not a car club guy.
Well,
but I do go to the auto show they have every year in Kearney. What do they call it? Cruise Night.
Yeah, Cruise Night. Yeah, we connect with Cruise Night every year, and that's a huge. I've never been to the cruise, but I've been to Kearney, and I've met all my friends at Kappa Ethanol at Kearney. In fact, I just saw them at the National Ethanol Conference 2 weeks ago. So what I would do is, why don't you just Google Central Nebraska Car Club in Kearney, and there are. And for the life of me, I can't remember Jerry's last name, but you will find a connection there. And you know, that's the best way to learn about a specific automobile, because there are Corvette clubs, there are Viper clubs, there's Corvair clubs. I mean, there's a club for every car. And there's even another forum that I belong to. It's the CLA forum, which is the Mercedes CLA. Because my daughter bought a Mercedes CLA I recommended a year before the car came out. And so I keep up with that car and the additions of that car and those sorts of things. So, Jim, that's what I'd recommend that you do. But I personally do not have that experience, and I cannot guide you, but I sure appreciate your call.
Well, thank you very much.
I thank you very much. Have a great day. 888-227-2546. Well, we have Stan, and we're going to go to Stan first, and then we're going to talk to Ray. But Stan has a suggestion, and if you were tuned in, you heard Ron's problem that he was having shifting his S10 out of park on cold mornings. Stan, welcome to Bobby Likas Car Clinic from Kansas.
Hi, Bobby.
Hi, sir.
I've had that problem on a couple of vehicles.
Okay.
And if it when it doesn't come out of park, just turn the steering wheel either one way or the other. And a lot of times that pin that locks it.
Yeah. Good idea.
That's a lot simpler solution than trying to mess with the solenoid.
Well, a question: have you, when you say turn left or right, you're talking about when it won't come out of park? You're not talking about the steering wheel being locked.
Well, after you start your vehicle up,
right?
Sometimes the power steering unit will, if it's cold, it will start putting pressure on it one way or the other, and it'll pull that over against that pin that locks the gear shift.
That's not connected, Stan. The pin has nothing to do with the transmission. It is a mechanical pin that is an interference.
No, your power steering unit will start pumping oil up, and it'll put pressure on the steering wheel, so that
but the
puts pressure on that pin.
The steering wheel doesn't put pressure on that pin. That pin is separate. It's on the linkage.
I've had that happen, and I've turned the steering wheel. Well,
you know what you did, in essence, what you did was you vibrated just by moving. See, that we're only talking a little, like a doorbell solenoid. We're only talking a little delicate pin that retracts from the park, and a little spring holds it out, so that when you go to park, it has a bypass, and it's always out. And then when you turn the key, when you step on the brake, it retracts. So it's not a steering issue. What you actually did, and I believe you, but what you actually did was you moved the steering column. If you had taken and maybe wrapped the steering column, I should have told him that. I normally do. If you'd wrapped the steering column, you could have accomplished the same thing. But I got you. I understand what you're saying. Did you ever? How did you figure that out, or you just happened to work for you?
Well, I started messing around with the steering wheel because I was trying to put it into reverse,
right?
And it wouldn't go, and I leaned against the steering wheel and turned it a little bit, and then it popped into reverse.
Yeah. What you did, you vibrated the steering column, or you moved the steering column, and it's ever so slight that those pins don't work, and that's why I was helping him to understand that. Stan, I really appreciate you calling and sharing your story with us. And folks, I want you to call 888 Car Clinic when I come back. We'll talk with Ray and take your calls. Don't go away.